boys and girls, it is Millwell here and I am back for these final stages of All Out War number 6. This is act number 2, sticking with the same zombie killing team here, led by 4-star Rick, and then we've just got a few 5s there surrounding him, and 4-star Andrew as an ally for this first stage up here. And we're doing fairly good in regards to the headshot, just purely using Rick's leader skill and his crit rush, and they're getting not an enormous amount of headshots, but quite enough that they're getting through these stages fairly comfortably. And the zombies ain't getting too close to me, which is what you always like, because sometimes when you have tier 1 level 1 5 stars, they can die pretty easy. As you can see, they can take a fair few hits as shown in these earlier waves, but their health, when you see Marco down there, is not too spectacular, so it's always nice to be getting those headshots in so they're not dying. And like Mark did, we won't revive him, we'll just leave him as is. Only got the one wave left to go, so we're doing completely fine with this one. The advantage, I guess, to this team I have here is that I do only have the one melee in Joshua, so these barriers and piles of rubbish and whatever else you wanted to call it, junk, are not really concerning me at the moment. It's when I use my all melee team for zombies or something like that, they become more annoying, especially when that one walker always gets stuck behind the one barrier for about 3 or 4 turns, and you're just waiting for it to come out and hitting the barrier. Unfortunately, there is no skip button or anything like that, so you're just forced to play through with all those blocks, which, if you accidentally put on fast forward, means you use all your rushes, which isn't always the best thing. But like I said, having the majority range team here means that it cuts that problem out of the picture completely, and these guys are shooting their way through it. Now, I'm not one of them people to say don't bring in a melee team because there's barriers. If you have a good enough melee team, once they feed through those barriers, you'll kill them anyway. So it's not that you shouldn't bring in a melee team because there's going to be barriers. Definitely still bring in your melee team. It just definitely makes it a lot easier if you do have a nice ranged zombie killing team, especially when these stages with these barriers come up. And when you get a big herd of zombies, it's always nice to have those ranged characters, because quite possibly it can get a bit overwhelming with the melees, and if they don't make their headshots, it only takes that one or few misses and you could be in a bit of trouble. But that's okay, like as long as you got a solid amount of crit, these stages shouldn't be really concerning you too much. Barriers and all, you know, these guys are smashing through it. They're not a particularly high rating team, they're not a particularly great rating team in regards to crit, they're not the best crit team I can get, and they're still doing fairly comfortably and getting through these stages. So, you know, in these early stages, I don't think too many people struggle in regards to Act 1 and 2, unless you're just recently starting out or just still in the early stages of progress in regards to this game. But I think the biggest struggle is once it starts hitting these A++ recommended team grades and things like that, is where people start to struggle the most. I know when they start getting in the S1, the S1 plus, it becomes a bit of a handful for even players that have been playing for a while that don't quite have the strength in regards to one area, whether it be people or zombies. But there are always ways to combat that, and that's in particular that comes down to your weapon choice, your leader choice, how you set up your team, the battle items you bring in, and also how you use your rushes. It's fair enough you could have an S1 plus team, but the rushes in that team may not be well suited in regards to these stages. When it comes to zombies, it always helps to have that crit count and crit rushes. And then when you change over to people, if you have too many healers and not enough big hitters, then you can get in a bit of trouble, or vice versa. If it goes the other way, you sort of need a nice mixture of both, which is what I try and do in my team, is mix up both big hitters with a few healers. That's probably the best combination I've found, and has got me through most if not all stages so far, is trying to mix up those combinations rather than trying to go too one-sided on either way. That's when you start to get in trouble. Problem with having too many healers is if you have too many healers, you lack the power to actually kill the opponents before they're killing you. And then if you have too many big healers, you lack the ability to actually heal yourself. You may kill the opponents quicker, but you can't actually heal yourself. So that's why it's always best to sort of get a balance between your team. Zombies are very different. You sort of want that, you're focusing mainly on that crit rather than getting this balance of big hit and power and healers. You just want crit and more crit. But in these early stages in Act 2 here, it's been fairly simple, and even this small amount of crit that Rick's given has been more than enough. And as you can see, they're just pumping out the headset, so they're doing great. Pretty happy with them. Probably, you know, some of the newer additions here in regards to the 5 stars. Mark I absolutely love. He is a blue healer, so blue healer is very rare in this game, and always nice to find one that is a very fast AP, which he is, and a blue healer ticks for me for Mark. He's a nice player to be having, and his leader skill is, you know, not that bad either. I think I don't even think he has a leader skill. I think Darius's leader skill is the plus 45% defense, so that's not a bad leader skill if you're looking to boost your defense, in particular of your blues. Darius is also another handy character, so I'm not going to knock him. Omid, I'm starting to not. I like Omid. He does have the very fast AP rush. I do like him a bit, but I probably wish he'd actually done a bit more damage than the 275 that he does do. He is a multi-hitter, but I wish he did up that damage a bit more. I'd be a lot bigger fan of him if he did have that bit more damage, but you know, at the same time, like I say, to have those very fast APs is a big game changer. So it's sort of hard. You got to measure out. We lost a few here, so we'll just put some blooded shirts on these guys. And this is what I talk about having battle items for, just in case something goes severely wrong like here. You just want those battle items to back you up and get you through these stages, so you're not getting to the last wave and losing, which I possibly could have done there if I didn't have those battle items. So that is Act 2 done. We'll get our Brady, some more elite tokens, and a little bit of supply points. As always, thanks for watching.